In this video, I'm going to give a preview of the upcoming Bukit Merah BTO that is widely anticipated by many people. We will discuss the location, the classification, and what are my brutal honest take on the pros and cons of this location. If you feel that the location looks familiar, this is because the location of this project is opposite the previous Berlayar Residences BTO that was launched back in 2025. Now, this project is very huge. It's close to 2,000 units. It will have 810 two-room flexi, 170 units of 3-room, and 980 units of 4-room. Not only that, in terms of the on-site facilities, it will have an eating house, a supermarket, couple of restaurants and cafes, shops, preschool, as well as residence network center. In terms of distance to MRT station, as you can see on the map, Teluk Blangah is just right behind this development. So I'm guessing it's like 100 meters or so. Of course, it will depend on which block you stayed lah, but at least it's very, very near. In terms of the classification, because Berlayar Residences was tagged as prime, I think this project will also hit with prime classification. Back then, Berlayar Residences had 14% subsidy clawback rate. Now for this one, probably it will be the same or even higher because it's being launched later. But given the application rate for Berlayar Residences was quite high, I'm assuming the demand for this plot will be more or less the same or even more. Okay, now let's talk about the location. So this is the map that HDB gave. If I look at the Google map, basically this is the corresponding land plot. As you can see, this is right opposite the previous Berlayar Residences that was launched in 2025. And as you can see, it is definitely within walking distance to the Teluk Blangah MRT station, so that's very good. One thing to note is that at the back of the plot, as you can see, there's a highway here. So if let's say you don't get a good queue number, you might face the highway. So that is something to take note of. Now, the development itself comes with great on-site facilities because it will have supermarket, an eating house, etc. Right? So that's good. If you want more amenities, of course, you can simply take the train and go to Harbourfront area where there are more amenities here. Or if you like active lifestyle, as you can see, quite a lot of option from Bukit Cermin Boardwalk, or you can go to Labrador Nature Reserve, or you can go to Mount Faber, or you can even go to Sentosa, for example, if you want to enjoy your time with your family. So I think definitely this location is good to have work-life balance because the distance to CBD area is also quite close. Now there are also like some small shops and like eateries underneath the development that you see surrounding the area. So that can be also an option if you want more amenities. However, if you look at the map, if you have young children, the reality is that this location doesn't have much schooling option. So you can see Blangah Rise Primary School is over here. But then other than that, the option is very limited, right? You have Radin Mas Primary School, but it's a bit far. You have CHIJ St. Teresa's Convent, but it's quite far. So I think that would be the trade-off if you want to live in this location. But of course, nowadays the problem can be easily solved by school bus, right? So that would solve the distance problem. Now let's zoom out and see what are your chances in getting ocean view. So the land plot is at the back, right? And then as you can see, actually there are land plots that is closer to the water. So there's always a possibility that even though you have a middle or high floor, some new development will be developed there, and then you ended up just looking at another tower instead of the ocean. So that would be the watch out. But if let's say you're lucky enough and then your view doesn't get blocked, indeed, like towards the southern area, you would be able to see some ocean view. But if not, even this side would be good because you would be looking at the greeneries of Mount Faber, which I think will be nice as well. So you would be able to see like city view on this side. So I think overall it's still a strong option if you want to apply for a BTO in this June 2026 launch. Now let's talk about the pros and cons, starting with what I like first. So I think this location definitely would have extremely high resale value, especially if you manage to snatch one of the high floors. If let's say you have unit facing the ocean, definitely that would be a bonus for many people. However, having said that, looking at the map, this project is not the closest to the water though. So even if let's say at the beginning you can see the ocean, I don't know whether it will be there for long because there's always a possibility of your view getting blocked by future development. So take that with a grain of salt. And then another thing that I like is I think this development on its own already have the premium image because it is HDB, but it has a lot of on-site facilities which makes it very convenient if you live here. And I'm sure it will also help with the resale value later on. Another thing that I like is that this project have almost 2,000 flats. So when it's time for you to sell your flat, let's say after MOP you want to sell, there will be a lot of price benchmark for resale, and typically a lot of benchmark will mean that it's easier to fetch even a higher price. And then another good thing with the number of flats, because there are so many flats, hopefully the application rate will be more manageable because the supply hopefully will be able to keep up with the demand. Another thing that I like is that because it is very near to the Teluk Blangah MRT station, it will be easy to commute to work if you are working in the CBD area, or if you want to get more amenities, let's say in the harborfront area, it will be very convenient. If let's say you want to rent out some of the rooms here, it should be easy as well. I think the demand will be quite high. But remember, because this will be a prime flat, you will not be able to rent out the whole flat even after MOP. So please take note of that. And then if you like active lifestyle, this location is near the Bukit Cermin boardwalk, so you can jog near the ocean in theory. And then another thing that I like is that this project have plenty of 2-room flexi as well as 4-room. Particularly for 2-room flexi, 810 is a lot. Now, on the other hand, what are the things that I don't really like about this development? I think first and foremost, if we look at the map, this project is next to a highway, so certain blocks, especially if you can only get low to middle floor, it will be noisy and dusty. So again, it will boils down to your queue number later on. Another thing that I read from online forums is there's actually a trade-off if your development has an eating house, supermarket, cafes, etc. downstairs. It's good for your convenience, but for those who are living on the lower floor, actually it's a double edge because it will be noisier for you, and then there will be also like more cockroaches and bugs, specifically because of the eating house and the supermarket downstairs. But of course, this is only applicable for certain blocks. Not every block will have this problem. I think another downside would be for family with young children. Please take note that this location doesn't have much school options. And I don't think this will be resolved anytime soon. So you have to bear in mind that if you have school-going children, they would just have to take school bus, which is additional cost, right? Another thing to consider is I think this project will have quite a high entry price. I'm assuming that the price will be similar to Berlayar residences or even slightly higher. Another thing that the subsidy clawbacks will be maybe 14% or even higher. The restrictions that comes with prime development, of course, I think most people would be familiar with it. The 10-year MOP, cannot rent out the whole flat even after MOP, the income ceiling for future resale buyers, etc. Another downside that you need to consider is that the ocean view might eventually be blocked by other development that will be closer to the water. So that is something to think about. Another thing that you need to watch out for is that the area for this ex-Keppel ground is still under development, right? If you see the map, so Berlayar residences will be there and then this project is there, but then the rest of the land plot are still not announced yet, but it will be developed soon. So which means that you can expect some construction dust and noise from the surrounding areas for several years to come. That is almost certain. important. So in summary, I think considering all factors, this is still a very solid option if you want to apply for a BTO, because if you look at it from different angles, it does have a lot of good selling points. So for example, it's very near to MRT station, the on-site facilities are great, and the potential resale value is very strong, etc. So overall, this is a very good option. But for families, I think the lack of nearby school options is going to be a real challenge. Another thing to note is that even though this development is relatively near to the ocean, please do not hope so much for ocean view, even for high floors, because again, if we look at the map, this land plot is not the closest development to the water, so the ocean view might eventually get blocked. What I'm trying to say is that I think at the end of the day, you need to really stay true to your budget. So don't overextend yourself just to get the highest floor, because it might not get the ocean view that you wanted. So just buy within your budget, what you're comfortable with. And then another thing is for seniors and singles in particular, this project comes with 810 turun flexi, which is a lot. Just to give you perspective, the project at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1 only has 570 units combined for all flat types. Sembawang North Oaks has 870 units combined for all flat types from turun flexi to 5-room. So the fact that HDB allocated 810 units just for turun flexi alone in this Bukit Merah BTO is a massive attempt to boost the turun flexi supply. So for singles and seniors, please make sure that you do consider this project very carefully. If you want to apply, I think this would be one of your bigger chance to secure a flat lah, especially in mature town and close to MRT station. But what do you think? Let me know your comment down below. What do you think about this project? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.